It's Sunday morning, and every decent man and woman is listening to Test Miles with Nick Miles on FM News 101 KXL. Buckle in.
Time to talk cars for the next 60 minutes on your weekly automotive radio experience. I'm Nick Miles, and you're listening to America's Automotive Radio Show, keeping you connected on FM News 101 KXL. Test Miles, locally created, nationally celebrated. Coming up on this morning's broadcast, we'll be talking about cars that we've been driving. Special guests Terry and Oliver Holler, who built a Back to the Future DeLorean. John Vincent from the Portland Tribune. And Jeff Zerschmied, the editor-in-chief from Test Miles and a writer at the Oregonian in the automotive department. We'll be discussing the Chicago Auto Show, which many of us at the show went to, and we'll find out about Kia's first dedicated hybrid vehicle. I have been driving the Honda Civic, which I think Brad and Sean have both been in. I love it. I have to say that I did really, really like it. America's car of the year, the North American car of the year, really made it such a huge difference. I have friends who own the previous versions of this vehicle, 1.5 litre or a 2 litre 4-cylinder, up to 174 horsepower, CVT transmission. Found it had lots of get up and go, really did. It does have their, of course, their ValveTech technology in there, a lot of cool IV Tech stuff on the inside in the engine. It has up to 42 miles a gallon, 6 trim levels. I think they've done a great job with it. I don't think there's anything incredible about it. I just think it's nice. It's nicely done.
I agree with you on that.
And it was well powered.
There's just nothing that pops out at you, but there's nothing to complain about either.
Right. That's a Honda. I think what happens is if you have things to complain about, people don't like it so much. I think it deserves North American Car of the Year. It starts at $18,600, and you can spend up to $26,500, which I think will get you a pretty fancy version of that. I'm glad they got rid of the 2 screens. I still don't like the radio in it where there's no buttons at all. It's all sort of touch screen stuff. But at least they didn't go to the push-button transmission like they've gone to in a lot of the Honda vehicles, because that drives me nuts.
One thing I really did like about that, and a new feature, is how you could actually control the volume on the steering wheel. It's kind of a not a scrolly wheel, but a slide pad like you're on your phone.
Right.
And it was a nice feature. It's all riveted, and it's just easy to control.
Really like the new Honda Civic. Go test drive it if you're in the market for a subcompact vehicle. All right, so remember the 1985 sci-fi comedy Back to the Future? Most people think Michael J. Fox was the star of the movie, but at Test Miles, we think the real star of the movie was that DeLorean car. They used it to go back in time and forward in time. And on the phone with us now, husband and wife team Terry and Oliver Holler, who are driving across the country in their hand-built Back to the Future DeLorean. You'll be able to see it in this week's Portland Wizard Comic-Con at the Oregon Convention Center. Hi, guys. Where did you get to so far?
Hey, Nick. We're
just outside of Kansas City, Missouri.
Excellent.
Get some barbecue for us.
Yeah, really. Bring barbecue to Portland when you're on your way. All right, so let's talk about how you guys decided to build this car. We know that you're driving across the country in this vehicle. First of all, how's the vehicle doing? Because you guys built this vehicle. Is it holding together, or do you have extra glue with you just in case something falls off?
Special DeLorean glue. No, it's doing great. The car itself has over 600,000 miles on it. So they really are wonderful cars.
Excellent. What inspired you to build this car?
Well, we both love the movie Back to the Future. And I would assume most people that watch the film, when that car comes out of the back of Doc Brown's van, you got to think to yourself, wow, wouldn't that be fun to drive? So years later, we made that dream happen for ourselves.
How long did this take you?
Well, it's still taking us. How many years have we been doing this?
16 years.
Wait, have you got all the wheels on?
All the wheels are on.
Oh,
yeah.
Good. That's a good start.
So you built this, without any specs, right? I mean, I can't imagine you knew anybody in the movie business who could get you the specs for this thing. How did you figure out what to do on it?
We referenced the movie. We just spent hours watching it, taking screen captures while it was a Polaroid picture as the screen was paused from the videotape.
Now, how much time have you actually spent driving the car?
Oh, that's a great question. We're on the road, I would say,
80% of the year.
Yeah.
So it's probably really nice as a couple to share a passion to be that close to one another in a DeLorean for that long.
Yes, indeed. It's nice that we like each other.
Yeah, because I'm not sure.
Very forgiving.
I'm not sure my
Very
relationship.
forgiving co-pilot.
My relationship may not survive the 80% of the time in the car together, just inches apart from each other. So you also raised a lot of money with this car, and you built it, and you've raised money for the Michael J. Fox Foundation. How did that sort of all come about? Why did you decide to make it into a charity venture, and how much money have you raised?
When Oliver came to me and said he really wanted to build a time machine, I said, that's a great idea, but don't let it sit in the driveway. And what we found was that Michael J. Fox was building his foundation about the same time we were building our car.
And, as we drove the car, we noticed it got a lot of attention. And we thought, well, if we can kind of convert that attention towards something positive, then it would be a win-win situation.
Yep, and we're reaching $250,000 for. We surpassed it.
$350,000 now.
Oh my goodness, $350,000.
Wow. So the question I've got is, why couldn't you just take that flux capacitor, set it for Thursday, and be in Portland without having to drive across the country?
Well, with the snowstorm we just went through, I guess that would be a wonderful thing. But remember, it's a movie car, and we do live in reality.
Now my dreams are dashed on the rocks of hope. You just drove through a snowstorm. How did it do?
Oh, very well. We had one bit of incident before the snowstorm. There was a large piece of steel debris that crossed the entire lane, and there was no avoiding it. So we struck that big piece of steel and did a little bit of damage to the front bumper and tore a bracket. But it's nothing that can't be fixed.
You have that super DeLorean glue. I know you just fixed it right there. Now, what happens when you get here? The WizardCon happens next weekend. The Wizard Comic Con here in Portland happens next weekend. What do you do typically when you show up with these vehicles? Where do they go? What do you do with them? How do the public interact? And how can they donate to the charity?
Well, the first thing is it's going to need a bath. It's full of road salt and grime and debris. 3,000 miles worth of dirt.
We'll set up our backdrop in our booth. We've got a wonderful clock tower backdrop. Set up the car. We'll have the hoverboard available and offer photo ops. So for a donation, you get to have a photo with our camera, and we'll take photos with the guest cameras, and we just have a whole lot of fun.
All right. Go on.
Donations themselves can be sent to the michaeljfox.org. Online.
Excellent.
It's very easy. Or you can, if you see us, you can donate in person.
And with tax day approaching, of course, this is all tax deductible. So you can get your picture taken, have a nice souvenir, and tax deductible. We look forward to seeing you guys. What a great adventure! What a great life! I sometimes wonder if I haven't chosen a much harder life than I could have done. I think driving across the country in a Back to the Future DeLorean might be a whole lot of fun.
Well, we appreciate the time that you've given us to talk about it.
All right. So thanks so much, guys, and good luck with the rest of your journey. We'll look forward to seeing you arrive here in Portland, Oregon, coming up in the next few days. And, of course, Wizard Comic-Con.
Wizard Comic-Con over at the Oregon Convention Center.
Yeah, that arrives this week. When we return on Test Miles, we are going to be taking a look at what happened at the Chicago Auto Show. Jen, Sean, Brad was the only one that wasn't here. Jen, Sean, John from the Portland Tribune, and Jeff Zerschmied, they were all there. I was there. And I think I came back with most of my appendages. That's how cold it was in Chicago. We'll tell you what happened at the Chicago Auto Show that opens to the public this weekend. It's Test Miles at FM News 101 KXL. I'm Nick Miles.